I spent the last 3 weeks reading the 700-page book Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell, a Stanford economist. People see economics as very complicated, but in reality, it's not as complicated as most people think. People are constantly being fooled because they don't learn how the economy works. By the end of this video, you'll understand why taxing the rich more can sometimes hurt the poor the most, why artificially lowering rents can create housing shortages, and why forcing food prices down can empty store shelves. I know it sounds backwards, but once you understand the logic behind it, you won't be able to ignore it anymore. So let's get into the video. Enjoy watching. Lesson 1. People respond to incentives, not intentions. In 2008, Maryland needed money, so they decided to raise taxes on the rich. There were around 8,000 millionaires in the state, and this tax was expected to generate an additional $106 million in revenue each year. The first year, everything went according to plan. But when they counted the millionaires again the following year, there were only 6,000 left. Around 2,000 millionaires had moved somewhere else. As a result, Maryland didn't collect the revenue it expected and suffered a major loss in total tax revenue. The lesson is this: think not about what you want people to do, but what you are incentivizing them to do. Maryland wanted to collect more money, but the policy they implemented incentivized wealthy people to leave the state. Intentions may matter, but incentives are what change people's behavior. This applies not only to economics, but also to your business, your relationships, and your life. Lesson 2, every choice has a cost. If you have $10, you can't buy Starbucks, a burger, and a movie ticket all at once. When you choose one, you give up the other. This is called a trade-off. Economics is not about what you have, but how you use what you have. Venezuela has massive oil reserves, but is poor. Switzerland has very limited natural resources, but is one of the richest countries in the world. Because what matters is not just what you have, but what you do with what you have. The same applies to you. Every dollar you spend, every hour you work, and every resource you use can only be used once. The real question is, it shouldn't be, can I afford this? It should be, what am I giving up to get this? For example, instead of buying a $60,000 BMW, you could buy a $20,000 car and invest the remaining $40,000. Over the years, that money could grow into a much larger amount. So the real cost of some purchases isn't just the money you pay today. You're also giving up what that money could have become in the future. Lesson 3. Prices send messages. According to a famous story, Soviet leader Gorbachev asked Margaret Thatcher how they make sure people get food. Thatcher's answer is simple: I don't. Prices do. London doesn't produce enough food to feed millions of people. Yet every day food arrives in the city from different parts of the world. There is no central institution managing this, because prices show people what is scarce and what is abundant. When pizza is scarce, its price rises, and producers are encouraged to produce more. When there is too much pizza, the price falls and production decreases. Prices are constantly sending messages. So when you see a high price, instead of just getting angry, ask yourself, what is this price telling me? Maybe something is genuinely scarce. Maybe too many people are chasing the same limited supply. The price may not be the problem itself. Sometimes it is simply a signal of the problem. Lesson 4. Price controls can change supply. Artificially making something cheaper sounds good, but when you lower the price, demand can increase while supply decreases. Think about it with the free pizza example. If you announce that there is unlimited free pizza at school, everyone will come. People start taking more than they need, and the pizza quickly runs out. Those who arrive late find nothing. The same thing can happen in the housing market. When rent is artificially kept low, more people demand housing. But if landlords' income is limited, they may stop maintaining properties or reduce new housing investments. As a result, the housing supply can become even worse. The same thing can happen with food. If a farmer is forced to sell a product at a loss, they may stop bringing that product to market. On the other hand, if prices are artificially kept too high, producers may start producing more than people need, and the products can rot in warehouses. So the important question is, when you change a price, what happens to supply? Lesson 5. Profits and losses provide direction. If you are making a profit from something, it usually means people want that product or service. If you are losing money, that is also a signal that you may be using your resources in the wrong place. Profit tells you, do more of this. Loss tells you, stop and try something else. That's what it says. If a company is constantly losing money, its labor, energy, and capital can be redirected toward other areas where people have greater needs. That's why a loss is not always simply a bad thing. Sometimes it is the most honest feedback showing you what doesn't work. The same applies to your life. Focus more on the things that make you money, move you forward, and actually work. Quitting a project that has been costing you money and energy for years is not failure. Sometimes quitting at the right time means redirecting your resources somewhere better. Lesson 6. Your wage is a price too. How much a worker can earn is related to how much value their work creates. Imagine you have a lemonade stand. You hire Maria, and because of her, you make an additional $10 in sales per hour. In this case, Maria is creating more value for you. But if another worker creates only $2 in additional value and you pay them a much higher wage, the business starts losing money. This isn't bad intentions, it's math. A business may not be able to keep employing a worker whose cost exceeds the value they create. That's why businesses may reduce hiring, cut working hours, or start using technology. The lesson is simple. You don't get paid just for your time. You get paid for the results you create. If you want to earn more, you need to learn how to create more value. Lesson 7. Trade can make everyone richer. You have a sandwich and your friend has pizza. You both want what the other person has more, so you trade. The total amount of food doesn't change, but you are both happier. That is the logic of trade. Both sides can win. Trade between countries works the same way. If one country can buy a product more cheaply from another country, it makes sense to buy it. The other country earns income by selling it. Both sides can benefit. It's like a person focusing on what they are best at instead of trying to do everything themselves. A lawyer who earns $300 an hour can hire a cleaner for $20 an hour instead of cleaning their own office, because they can use their own time on work that is more valuable. Countries can similarly focus on the areas they are best at and obtain other products through trade. This entire video really comes down to one idea: trade-offs. Every hour you spend on something you are weak at could be an hour stolen from something you are strong at. Instead of trying to do everything yourself, you can focus more on what you do best. That's economics. That's also how life works. Understanding economics won't automatically make you rich, but it will make it much harder for people to fool you with bad economic ideas. I hope this video has given you something valuable. Thanks for watching.